right, Sam, are we on?
Boy, the house band was rocking yesterday at the virtual event.
Oh, I didn't get to see any of the virtual event, really. I was out front all the time. Was it good music?
Yeah.
Nice.
House band was rocking it.
Rocking! Hey, everybody. This is another edition For the Love of the Dog. I'm Steve McLean here with Gary Newcomb, our trainer. Gary.
Hey.
So, wait. So, what do you mean house music? What was going on? Did Sam have some cool music
Sam
piped
had
in?
cool music coming in between segments, different music. It was all like funky, jazzy.
Man. No, Sam and Nicole make us look so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Thank goodness. I saw that ad that they put together for Mama Dog. Like I told you, they put together all that rambling speech. I probably talked their ear off for like a half hour, and then they clipped it down and made me sound semi-intelligent.
That was pretty good, so, yeah, except for the narrator, huh?
Yeah.
No,
that's why they didn't show him.
No, you did such a good job. It's funny because I was telling, for those of you that are listening that don't know what we're talking about, Gary narrated a really nice video for us for our campaign, Home for the Holidays campaign. It's really good, and it was funny because, of course I knew exactly who it was, but the only time I truly hear your voice is when I see you.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing you, and I'm actually listening to your voice. It's just really good. You did a really good job.
Yeah, there's a little stumble at the end. A couple of words I mixed up that I'm like, oh!
There's a reason why they didn't ask me to do it.
Because I didn't need the obscenities?
No. It's just I can't enunciate. I got a nasal voice, whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I can talk about that.
Anyway, again, thank you for joining another edition of For the Love of a Dog. We're here to talk about dog behavior, answer your questions. Right now, we're live on Instagram, so you dudes and dudettes get first priority. So if you guys have a question while we're live on Instagram, type your question in, and our producer, Mr. Sam, will relay that question to me, and we will answer it. So anyway, before we get to that, and we don't have a question currently, I kind of wanted to dive into something that came up yesterday during the adoption event. And we had a couple questions that were interesting, but there's one in particular that I wanted to answer or try to answer. One of the questions has to deal with, there's an outfit in Texas that for 2020 we've been helping out. They've been coming to us. If you remember the dogs that we received from Texas that got thrown out of the car, the mom and the puppies thrown out of the car, and the poor mom got beat up pretty bad. That's the company I'm talking to. So one question that we had from some of the volunteers was, hey, geez, why are you guys helping, Texas when there's such a problem here in California, which is a great question. But however, that's not the question I'm going to answer. We also got a question which I want to answer because I'm a jerk and I want to talk about this. And it's my show. And if you want to talk about other things, get your own flipping show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the question was Vanderpump. For people that watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills know who I'm talking about. Vanderpump started her dog rescue 3-4 years ago, maybe even earlier. I'm not sure. But the reason why I bring it up is because the same outfit in Texas also supplies the dogs to Vanderpump. And if you notice, which one of our volunteers did notice, Vanderpump only rescues the little cute dogs.
Yep.
She doesn't ever she literally tells Texas, we only want perfect little dogs. So the question that the volunteer rightfully asked is, well, geez, why does Vanderpump only want the perfect little dogs? Which I thought was, to me, it's a super easy answer.
Yeah.
But this volunteer is very sweet. I don't want to say naive, but she's just very sweet. But to answer her question, it's because it's optics. It's all about looking good. I'm ashamed to say that I do know who Vanderpump is because guilty pleasure. Like my wife and Mackenzie, my daughter, will be watching the show, and I'll be complaining, how can you people watch this stupid show? It's just so stupid. And then I get sucked into it. And I remember 3 or 4 years ago when she said, hey, I want to open up a dog rescue. And I was super irritated.
Yeah.
Because she knows nothing about dogs. Her husband, and that's the only person I like on the show, thought it was a great idea. He doesn't know a flipping thing about dogs. And they have this adorable, cute little
like
terrier.
A Pomeranian or something.
Pomeranian terrier kind of thing. It's gorgeous. They never let the dog be a dog. It's always dressed up as a little human, and they all they do is dole over this dog all the time. And It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you've never watched the show.
I have never watched.
I'm assuming. The reason why I say that is because if you know Gary doesn't watch any TV.
No.
You can probably answer the question.
Oh, absolutely.
And so answer the question because you don't even watch the show. You know the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think that, with the birth of the internet, I really go back. It probably started with celebrities before then, but with the birth of the internet, it really allowed a lot of these sub-celebrities to try to make a name for themselves.
Right, sub-celebrities. I like it.
So what it has created is clout chasing.
Right.
People want to try to make a name for themselves, so they will virtue signaling. Another term you can throw at it. I want to seem like I'm a good person.
Right.
I want to do the right thing, so I'm going to look around me. How can I make this world better?
Right.
Well, I love my little dog in a Santa suit, so
Right.
why not try
Give
to
that
save
love
little
to someone
dogs
else.
like little dogs in Santa suits?
Right.
So, yes, it's not foreign to us to see rescues. This is just clout chasing turned onto the rescue world.
Right.
But even within the rescue world, it's not foreign for us to see rescues that take easy cases.
No, it's not at all.
If you want to take a lab, you want to take puppies, there's dogs that are easier to adopt out than others. And
Right.
it gives you a good number at the end of the year that say you can fly as a flag and say, look, we saved 1,000 dogs this year. But you saved 1,000 dogs that would have probably been adopted anyways.
Right.
So,
That's kind of my irritation is they're taking dogs that would have been adopted anyway. They're not a problem dog.
Yeah.
But, I'm trying. I don't want to be totally negative. I'm not saying they're not helping. It's just that it's more, to me, it's more about their image.
Yeah.
In fact, it's actually in our foster blog and foster guide that said that I wrote. And I was guilty. I'm still guilty of this because everyone knows I'm so lazy. If all you want to do is feel good about yourself and you're trying to give back, just give blood.
Yeah.
And that's what I that's what I used to do. But it's super simple. You're done with it and you feel good about yourself.
You sit there, you get your orange juice or cookie, and you're out.
Right. And so to me, what Vanderpump is doing is kind of like that.
Yeah.
And are they sweating, the ins and outs of
and it really falls somewhere right between there. Somewhere between it makes me feel good and, like you said, the optics of look at us, we have a foundation that saves dogs.
Right.
So if you say on your website that I'm a TV personality and you're from a reality show, you probably need to bring more to your background than just I was on the Real Housewives of Orange County spending mad amounts of money and living in a way nobody else relates to.
Right.
So to become relatable, to become human, to be able to, host a charity and functions and look like this great big person who's helping society, they always try to get involved in some nonprofit. Obviously, her direction was to dogs because she has one, but I think if you look below the surface, that the quality of the work that she's offering to the rescues is far below what she could be doing.
Oh, yeah.
With her platform alone, without ever dropping a dime of her, millionaire.
Right. And of course, speaking for myself, a lot of this is just envy. I would love to have that amount of money and prestige backing the Little Red Dog.
Oh, absolutely.
And I maintain that she would have done more good giving that the amount of money that she's honed in on that rescue, giving it to LA, because LA there's a pity rescue in LA that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, there would have been a lot more greater good done.
And the sad part is that, she probably threw a few bucks down in the beginning, but for the most part, she's probably operating on donations that would be going to legitimate rescues who would be doing the right thing.
Right. And if you, I know you did a quick little dive into her, what she's all about and all that. I'm sure that if you probably noticed that her following is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And they've only been around, I think, less than 5 years.
Yeah.
And if
But I mean, that's why you get a celebrity to tie their name to that. That recognition comes with automatic support right off the bat.
And their facility's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off.
Yeah. When you have endless amounts of money, it's like what I would do, how I sit back when I buy my lotto ticket. I sit back and I don't realistically think I'm going to win, but I want to buy it as early in the week as possible so I have as much dreaming time. And that's what I'm buying. I'm buying that dreaming time for, if it could happen.
That's funny.
So...
Well, I think the question I'll ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being she's doing amazing work, it's a sacrificial work, it's really helping the community, and 1 is like not helping the community at all. For me, I think it's like a 5. I think she does do a little bit of good. What is your thought? Like, what's the net? Is she really helping?
I mean, just in the giving credit part, not trying to put T on her or anything, just in the credit part, I would probably give her like a 3.
Okay, so you're worse than me. Okay.
Yeah, she's doing something. I'm not going to give her a 0.
Right.
She's doing something, but like I said,
it's a bare minimum.
The impact that she's making is so minimal compared to what she could be doing. If she just gave in a way that wouldn't give her the clout.
Well, and the other part that's frustrating, when the little red dog sits down and says, "Okay, we're trying to rescue X amount of dogs that have medical issues. We're trying to rescue X amount of dogs that are seniors. And then we're trying to rescue X amount of dogs that are small because we primarily rescue the bully breeds, right? In 2020, it's been so difficult, especially this last quarter, to rescue small dogs. And part of that problem is Vanderpump.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know this. Like I said, we just fell into it. This group in Texas, again, I'm being repetitive, is the one that's feeding most of the dogs for her. Because in California, especially in LA, it's super brutally hard to rescue a small dog.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, the shelters here can also be a lot harder to work with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, a lot of people don't know the background of all that. But, why we do it, we'll touch on the topic you didn't want to do, why we deal with dogs, because the issue is a dog issue. It's not a California issue. It's not, we are here to save dogs.
Yeah, and we're always trying to help any organization that's feeling overwhelmed, and that's what happened in Texas.
Yeah,
because of the economy, because of the pandemic, rural areas, especially in Texas, are being hit hard. They asked, and they've been always friendly to us. So I get it. I mean, I do wrestle with this kind of question myself, especially when we rescue dogs in Mexico.
Yeah.
That's always a big hot button. People, so always be some person on Instagram, well, why the hell did you save in Mexico, the United States? Legitimate question. Yeah. Legitimate question, but Jesus.
I don't think it's a legitimate question. I'm not ready to give that credit. So? No. Okay. I think that you're bringing your own personal crap to it, and, dogs need to be rescued. I don't care if it's a dog from anywhere.
I agree.
That's like saying we can only save small dogs, large dogs. When you limit it, we basically become a Vanderpump.
Yeah, and I think with Little Red Dog, the adage is true. Whoever talks the most, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. In other words, because of PJ's huge heart, let me back up. Because of PJ, the Little Red Dog is pretty well known throughout all of the United States. I mean, seriously, I really do mean that. I mean, if you're in the dog community in the United States, most people know who PJ is.
Yep.
They don't know who Steve McLean is, but that's fine. That's fine. But they know who PJ is, and because of that, and because this is true. Once she gives her word, it is true. I can tell you right now, living with her, if she says something, she will make it happen.
Yeah.
Or she'll die.
Yeah.
I'm not that way. I'll try.
Yeah, it got hard.
I'm going to tap out. That was too hard. I got to get up early. But I have to say, so because of PJ, and that's the reason why we get a lot of inquiries. We get inquiries from Mexico, Texas, New York. There's so many great facilities in New York that we would love to help. They've never asked us, but they're so great. And I think that's part of it. In fact, just a little sidebar. Actually, Sam and I were talking about this, and I think it bears repeating. If you know me, you know I'm super competitive to the point where I'm so competitive that if I have to cheat a little bit to win, I'll cheat a little bit, because then what's the point? If you're not trying to cheat a little bit to win, you don't want to win that badly. Yeah. And that's how I'm wired. To the point where I have a problem.
Maybe a little competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough for me to just win. I want to make you cry, right? Okay.
I got to crush you.
Yeah, I have to crush your soul. But what's really cool about some of the organizations in the United States and in California is they recognize that we're all trying to do something good. There's a lot of competition and petty competition in dog rescue. But there's great organizations that are very friendly, And that's why we help Texas. And it really, and it's a combination of what you just said. It's all about the dog, right? And there's dogs. Mm-hmm. It's very overwhelming how many dogs die every year. So we're trying to help the dog, because PJ's developed these great, relationships, we can't say no.
Yeah.
I can say no, but she's not going to say no.
Yeah. Well, like I said, she's the heart behind the rescue, and we're the brains.
Yeah.
We tend to.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we got to make a tough decision on tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, I think we probably beat that question to hell. You know what? I would love one day to be the envy of other organizations because we have this great facility. We're close, and we've got so many good people. We're very lucky.
But when we have that great facility,
yes,
people will be saying how good a job we're doing.
Yeah, I hope
how
so.
We're digging deep into the hard jobs.
I hope so. Well, I think because of PJ, we'll always have that.
Yeah.
We'll always have that edge about us that we want to try to save the tough ones.
It's not just about numbers.
No, and then like you say, that's why I'm always grumpy, because I got to figure out a way to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, on that note, I think that's a perfect place to stop. Thanks.
Bring in our master.
Yeah, we're gonna next up will be PJ to give us some more of her thoughts. I'm not even sure what she's gonna talk about. Rarely do I know.
Just sit back and hold on.
Sit back and hold on. Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Please subscribe, give us a review. If you can't do that, please hop on littlereddog.org and give us some donations. Please, 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 or volunteer or adopt. We need you. Take care. When we come back, Miss PJ Rosh. Woo! Hey everybody, it's that time of year again. It's home for the holidays this year for our year-end giving, and we need your support, please. If you go to our website, thelittlereddog.org, you'll see a section in there for Home for the Holidays, where we're trying to save 50 dogs and also generate $50,000. So please give so we can save these underdogs. Thelittlereddog.org. Find the section Home for the Holidays. We need your support, please. Thank you so much and have a great holiday. Welcome back, everybody. We're here in studio with PJ. PJ is our co-founder. Technically, more than co-founder. She's our founder. Anyway, I'm here with her today, and I don't know what she's going to say, but she was on a tear last week. So what you got for us this week, Miss PJ?
We get asked a lot of questions. As everybody knows, we're right in the middle of our huge Home for the Holidays campaign where we're trying to raise $50,000 to save 50 dogs, which probably doesn't sound like a lot of dogs, really. But we're doing all these underdogs, which is a lot of medical cases, surgeries, moms and pups, and then those dogs like pit bulls and mixed breeds that just don't get out, that are, as I've told you before, only 1 in 867 pit bulls or mixed breeds make it alive out of the shelter. So we're trying to increase those odds, and unfortunately, because they're medical cases and harder dogs to adopt, they cost us more. So
right.
That's why it's simple math. We usually tell you it's $690 to save a dog. On average, it's a little bit more. We rounded it to $1,000 to try to make it easy for people to kind of wrap their heads around it. But we've had a lot of people, ask why. We've taken several dogs that have gotten hit by cars recently that needed surgery, and people say, well, why can't the shelter do a surgery? Why does it sit there? Well, there are some shelters that are equipped and will
well-funded.
Will do the surgery or have programs where they can send it out to a vet and do a surgery in hopes that somebody will adopt it.
It's pretty rare, though, right?
It's rare.
Where we are, anyway.
It's
Southern
pretty
California.
rare. It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And then there's other shelters that just really don't have any resources. They don't have a vet on staff. They can't even do a rabies vaccination because a rabies vaccination has to be given by a vet. So, so they're limited in what they can do. So that's why when the dog is in peril, they try to, depending on how bad it is, they try to find a rescue who will take it and take on that financial responsibility of the surgery. And if they can't, then they will euthanize a dog.
Yeah.
So that's why. And people ask that question, well, why don't the shelters do something? Well, that's why. It's not that they're mean, just some of them just aren't set up for it. And like you said, for the most people, they don't.
Right.
So people also ask, what does TLRD have to consider, before we decide to take a medical case? And so obviously, if it needs a specialist, thankfully we work with Hope for Paws, and they do help us out a lot with the specialists. But if it's a surgery that one of our vets can do, we need to make sure that they have space, that they can take the dog, they can operate on them, hold them for a few days while they're recuperating. And unfortunately this year, that has been tough. I mean, we have 3 vets that we work with regularly, and they are all so busy constantly. So even trying to get a dog spayed, sometimes we have to wait 3 or 4 weeks, which, sucks. But, so trying to get in an emergency surgery, we can, but that's one of the factors. The other factor is, can we afford it? I mean,
normally no.
Which is, usually no, which is why we always come out and ask for money to supplement the surgery. And then the other thing is, once the dog is through the surgery, we need to have a foster that they can go to, that they can heal. And again, we're lucky that we have a few fosters, 3 or 4 fosters that will take the medical cases, that are really good with them. We, like Tracy Cota is one of them. She will actually take them in the pool and do water therapy,
right.
So we are lucky, but again, that's only 3 or 4, and they can't take them all the time. So that's the other thing that we have to consider, really. I mean, those are the major considerations is, can we get the dog? Do we have space for them? Do we have a vet partner that can do the surgery, and can we afford it? And then do we have a foster? So those are kind of the things that we have to consider. And then somebody asked, what happens after we agree to save them, or how many people? And that's a thing that I think people don't realize, how many of us are involved, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the question is, when you do this, who are the people involved? Yeah. What are the steps to take? Yeah, right. That's super, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very chaotic.
It's a lot of coordination.
It takes a lot of,
So
it's very difficult.
We have, Kelly's our primary medical director liaison. And so she is constantly talking to the vets and moving dogs around and trying to figure out who can do what surgery. If it's very specialized, we have one vet that we use more often. So she is constantly doing that, making sure they have the space. But once we decide, we talk to the shelter, we commit to pull them, we have to get a transporter to go get the dog. Then the dog comes to the vet that Kelly's already prearranged, not like we just show up.
Right.
And, then they work on it, and we have to make decisions sometimes, that are not always fun decisions. But, we have to do that. We have to get a foster in place, like I mentioned.
Well, it seems obvious too, but the whole point of all this is ensuring the dog at one point can be adoptable.
Right.
And so that means that we have to get a lot of medical opinions. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the vets differ, obviously, and we have to figure out, depending on the prognosis of the animal, is it going to be on a family's scope of adoption, and are there going to be a lot of families, or is it going to be just that one special family, like turbos?
Turbo.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about that, how special that family is, and families like that, I don't want to say one in a lifetime, but there's not a lot.
There's not a lot.
For sure, count on one hand. And so, of course, we want every dog to have a great life, but we do have to weigh, and this is where it becomes super difficult. And you and Kelly take the brunt of that decision. Can we get this dog healthy? And you guys do an amazing job. And I know you've got me griping at you and Kelly about the money that we have to spend, but at the same time, I think we've been lucky. And also, sidebar, Eldad and Hope for Paws, we couldn't do this without them, for sure.
Correct.
But it's people don't understand that when you decide to save a dog with a condition, medical pre-existing condition, whether it got hit by a car, whether some sort of weird disease, we have in the back of our brains, we have to say, geez, is there a family out there for this dog? And that's not always an easy answer, because we know how hard it is to find fosters. Son of a bitch, it's way harder to find someone that's willing to adopt for the dog's lifetime in some of these cases.
Right.
And most of the time, it's fascinating to me how many dogs we've taken in 2020 that were hit by cars, and they've all had amazing prognosis. That they're healthy now, and we can get them adopted. It's amazing to me the technology of this year, and we say we've been doing this a long time, but it seems like some of these dogs, if they were hit like they were 9 years ago, they wouldn't have had a chance.
No, we're really lucky. We work with some really talented vets that done a lot of surgery. I mean, look at Cliff. Was it Cliff that had the feet that were in?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Cliff. It wasn't Cliff.
It was the Bulldogs. Shoot,
I can't think of his name. Anyway,
we need Kelly here.
He had he had to have surgery to have his feet right-sided, and that was a very expensive surgery. And
that's it's a great example of, we know that dog's going to get adopted, even because the dog was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
sweet.
if you can always say, because people are weirded out sometimes when they've had surgery.
But there's way more
because they're worried
families.
that it's going to be
Absolutely.
a future
I'm not arguing with
expense.
that. I'm just saying there's a bigger audience of families that are willing to adopt that dog than the type of family that's going to adopt a dog like Turbo with two legs that don't work, and he has to be on a wheelchair, and blah blah blah, and tons of energy. Was the other curveball on that guy. But the point is, there was that family out there. And I'm not trying to stroke you and Kelly. But it's true. You guys do a very good job of saying, yes, we can take this dog, and at the end of the day, these dogs will get adopted.
Well, Kelly spends a significant amount of time dealing with the vets, and it's not always easy.
It's super,
because everybody's overwhelmed, and it's tough, and everybody's not always nice. But,
no.
I mean, Kelly's always nice, but not everybody's always nice to her.
Right.
So it's very difficult, and that's another question. It's like somebody said, well, you saved Annalie and Lucas Jones this week, and that we did that as a result of our Giving Tuesday. We were able to save those two dogs along with Hope for Paws help. Why did you choose them? And it's a lot what you're talking about. I mean, first of all, when you hear a dog is sitting in a shelter for 2 weeks with two broken legs, that just breaks your heart. So you want to help. We know nothing about him. Don't know if he's dog aggressive, if he's a good dog or whatever. So you're having to a lot of times we don't have time to go out and do an evaluation. Or would we in this case, because the dog was, to me, in peril. They were ready to put him down because he had been sitting there for a while with no interest. And
not only that, when a dog's not feeling great, it's not like you're going to see the true nature of the dog.
Perfect point.
Yeah.
So, it's a leap of faith. So we took that dog, but to your point, like, he was beautiful. I think everybody says he's sweet, so I'm thinking he'll be easier to adopt, but he's going to have 2 major surgeries, so that's another consideration. Annalie, she was at one of the greatest shelters. I mean, they're very nice people who work there, but again, it's a very small shelter. They have no vet on staff, and again, she sat there for a while with a broken pelvis and a broken leg.
Right.
And so we decided to go ahead and just, roll the dice and pull both of them. Luckily, they're both very, very sweet dogs, and I think that they will be highly adoptable, but we do look for that. We don't look for perfect dogs. There's been plenty of dogs that needed surgery or needed help that are dog aggressive or have issues that we know we're going to have to work with. But to be honest with you, I used to pull a lot more of those than I do now. And the reason is we're trying to pull more dogs that we can adopt out rather quickly, because that helps us save more dogs, and it does make room for those dogs that are more difficult. So we don't, we're not looking for just the perfect dog. We never have done that. It would be great if we could have perfect dogs, but as we all know, and I've said a million times, I'm not perfect. No dog is perfect, so that just doesn't happen.
No, but the whole point is we're trying to find dogs that deserve to be saved and are adoptable, and that can be a very difficult. Screening dogs in that manner is difficult.
We don't have the bandwidth to do it pre-pull.
No, not every dog.
We do sometimes, but yeah.
Right. And that in a perfect world, we would love to do that. So a lot of times we're relying on the information from the staff at the shelter, correct?
Right.
And we don't always get good intel there.
You don't, or there's volunteers, and there's also problems with that because volunteers are like most of us in rescue. We love every dog, so they're like, oh, they're so sweet, and really they want to take your head off if they're not feeling well or whatever.
Right,
so,
right.
We've gotten bad intel. I think a lot of the people that we work with now, it's been 9 years, over 9 years. I know people I can trust. So when I say to them, just tell me. Just tell me, is it really a good dog? And again, that doesn't mean we're not going to pull it.
Right.
That just means I need to know what we're going to have to do. What are we setting ourselves up for? How much work are you or Gary going to have to put in it from a training perspective, behaviorally? Because a lot of times you can fix the physical things pretty easily, but it's a little harder to fix the behavioral things.
That's right. Yeah, it's a whole package. And I think obviously that's why you and I get so frustrated when we're close to the touchdown, meaning that's getting the dog in the foster, right?
Right.
And then at the last second the foster backs out. So there's so many moving parts, so many talented people willing to save the dogs, and to get fouled up by some idiot that's not willing to sacrifice a little of their own time. It's very, very frustrating.
Right. Well, hopefully that gives you some insight into what we do and how we go about pulling these dogs. Thank you again for everybody who's donated to Home for the Holidays and helped us with these medical cases and these underdogs. We cannot do it without you.
No, we can't. Please go on our site, littlereddog.org, and help us out at Home for the Holidays. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.